The series has been out since 2001, and there are only that many games to work with. Actually, there aren't even that many games. I don't know why that's there. That's just cruel. Why would someone do that? Pikmin 4 is actually real now, and I am so happy about that. Now we have Pikmin 1 and 2 and 3 all on the Switch so you can play them and get ready for Pikmin 4. Speaking of which, there's a demo, and I played it. And you want to know what I think about that demo? I am stunned and appalled. This game is a reboot. I'm just kidding, I'm not appalled. The game's actually really good, and I don't think it matters that it's a reboot, but I do want to talk about it a little bit. So if you haven't played it, spoilers for the Pikmin 4 demo, I guess. We start out with a really cute opening cinematic retelling the events of Pikmin 1. For those who don't know, please play Pikmin 1 and 2 on Switch because they're right there. Why haven't you played them yet? Olimar is stranded on a distant planet on his way back from vacation, and his ship, the SS Dolphin, is viciously ripped apart by a collision with an asteroid. Unsure of what to do, Olimar discovers the Pikmin, who apparently have a knack for carrying items several times larger than themselves. With their help, Olimar recovers his missing ship parts one by one, while also increasing the Pikmin's population. See, people like to paint this as a much more one-sided arrangement, like painting Olimar like he's throwing these guys into battle and not caring about what happens to them. But he does care a lot, and by the end of the game, I'm pretty sure the Pikmin are the top of the food chain, judging by how many there are in the ending cinematic. We haven't even seen all these guys yet, and I don't think we ever will. Or at least that's how it was supposed to go. Because Pikmin 4, to my utter bewilderment, is a reboot of the series. Olimar still finds himself stranded on the Pikmin planet, but soon after that, he meets a space dog, which he nurtures back to health. Having both the Pikmin and the space dog really speeds up the ship's recovery, and you'll see why once the gameplay starts up. But at the end of this little tutorial area, we find the Matthew McConaughey interstellar radio, which he uses to broadcast a message to the entirety of space in hopes that someone will come to rescue him. Receiving his distress call, the review corps. They send a bunch of YouTubers to go save him. They too crash land. And that, dear viewer, is where you come in. The newest recruit to the rescue corps is your custom character. And man, do you have a killer first assignment. You gotta scour an entire planet to save your co-workers and Captain Olimar, and the millions of other random castaways that found their way to the planet because Olimar really said,
"Call in everyone."
Somebody ring the Dinkster!
So the premise, I'm totally cool with it. I think this is a great way to set up a new game, but I'm a little bit confused because Pikmin 3 Deluxe came out like 3 years ago, and now we're saying, hey, don't worry about that one. Just go with this one. It's completely new, but there's still a 4 on the end for some reason. But then I think, hey, it's actually been 10 years since Pikmin 3 came out originally, so I guess wiping the slate clean isn't the most crazy thing they could be doing. It's just that 4 on the end there. They should have called it something like Pikmin. New Pikmin! You know they love doing that. They love calling shit new. For the record, I don't want them to call it that. That would be really stupid, but some people might see Pikmin 4 and then think, oh, I guess I should probably play the other 3 first. So they put the other 3 on their wish list, and then they never think about it ever again. And yes, I am projecting my own practices onto you, but what of it? The demo starts with Olimar landing in this gorgeous new location. I love this kind of aesthetic, like the giant house thing, and it reminds me a lot of this platformer game I played recently called Tinykin. It's actually sort of Pikmin inspired in itself, And it also reminds me a little bit of Toy Story 2 Buzz Lightyear to the Rescue, but that's probably just because all of these games feature you being like small little guys in big places. This is where we learn the mechanics of Dog, or as I like to call it, the new meta. Dog is the best choice for almost every single situation. Need to break something? Dog. Need to move faster? Dog. Need several Pikmin to carry something back to the dolphin? That's a good one. Dog. I was initially put off by this because the game is called Pikmin 4, not Dogman 4. Right off the bat, this game feels like they have Pikmin down to a science. The Pikmin have become these perfect little robots that'll never mess anything up, they'll never trip or walk into hazards by themselves. Commanding your Pikmin previously in the series using the C-stick, and then in Pikmin 3 using motion controls or however you might have done it, nothing can compare to what they do in this game because there's an auto-aim feature, so now you'll just never miss a throw. And all of these things make a Pikmin game easier to play, especially if you've never played a Pikmin game before. But it also strips away some of the things that I liked about the series in the past. And I'm not here to say that in Pikmin 1 and 2, when they did stupid things like walk into fire geysers when you didn't want them to, that was a good thing. It was kind of like you were in charge of this legion of tiny, dumb plant babies, and you really needed to keep track of them, or else they were gonna do dumb things like that. But I'm really torn on that because it is really annoying when that happens. But then in the absence of that, it sort of makes them lose a little bit of character in my mind. I don't know if that makes sense. Because, nobody's perfect, but these Pikmin are, pretty damn close. Putting those complicated feelings aside, the Pikmin are also able to ride with Olimar on unnamed Space Dog, and if you charge into an enemy or object, the Pikmin get flung off and will instantly dig their teeth into whatever they land on. It's hard to believe that these guys go into hiding and just don't do anything when Olimar's not around. They could rule this planet, they could take to the stars, and we'd all be done. Up at the top of the living room, there's a boss encounter, and the only reason I call it that is because the Pikmin 2 boss music starts playing, but much like in Pikmin 2, this creature melts within seconds. And now the real journey begins with your custom character creation. I appreciate a character customizer in a game like this, because it doesn't really matter what tiny little spaceman you're playing as, but it's just nice that I can make my own. That being said, there's not a lot of options, but there's enough to have some variety, and I like that some of the cosmetics resemble previous Pikmin characters like Alf, Brittany, Charlie, and Louie. That being said, you better believe I went with the swirly glasses because I take that option whenever it's offered. After all, I learned from the best. So I hope you're ready for more dog tutorial after the dog tutorial section, because once you land on the Pikmin planet, there's more dog tutorial. You quickly meet up with Ochi here, the rescue pup who crashed in with the rest of the rescue corps. Convenient that Ochi is here and he's the only one out of the entire crew that's actually useful. This is where we really see the true power of Dog. Ochi can single-handedly resurrect new character Colin from the dead, destroy any enemy in his path, and dig up and activate the onion, finally granting you use of the Pikmin after a 20-minute stretch without them. This is Dogman 4, let's be honest. You, Colin, and Ochi go underground, and this is where we see that this isn't Pikmin 4, or Dogman 4, really. It's actually Pikmin 2, which I am all here for because Pikmin 2 is the best entry in the series. After Ochi's killing spree, we meet the cowardly Captain Shepard, who makes herself a very endearing character right off the bat. And even though she shares the name with the ship, she passes the duty of fixing it off to you and Colin. So here we go, collecting these beautifully rendered 3D models of real-life objects again. Apparently, they all contain a fuel source called Sparklium, which is a concept they lifted from Hey Pikmin on the 3DS. But I'm positive that game isn't canon either, because Olimar escapes the planet on his own in that game, and he's also got the SS Dolphin 2 by his side, whereas in this game, he has the classic ship. Wandering around the area for a little bit nets us the Red Onion, which has been redesigned since Pikmin 3, and while it can contain multiple Pikmin types, it is only able to produce the flavors you see here. Sort of like those soda machines with the touchscreens. And with a few things like that, we power up the Shepard enough to create a base camp. Unlike previous adventures, we're staying on the planet's surface instead of flying away because, realistically, what Bulborb is gonna walk over to this huge metal contraption and take a bite out of it? Probably smells like space stink. On Expedition Day 2, we're finally let loose for some true Pikmin gameplay. You and Ochi head to Sun-Speckled Terrace, and then the dreaded Pikmin clock appears in the top left corner. Gotta make sure your Dandori skills are up to snuff, or a lot of castaways are gonna get snuffed out. What's Dandori mean? They use this in place of mentioning time management or careful planning in this game. So Pikmin isn't a time management game anymore, it's a Dandori
2-way game. And if you use your time wisely in this demo, it is actually a massive piece of gaming. You're told at the very beginning that the demo will end at the end of a day after you've collected 1,500 Sparklium, which means if you don't collect that amount, just ignore the treasures no matter how cool they look, you can just keep playing and exploring the Sun-Speckled Terrace and its many caves. I didn't think to do that before I beat the demo, so now I would have to start over to go check out all the other stuff. But yeah, you can totally break this thing wide open. You can't really go anywhere past Sun-Speckled Terrace. It's not like, you know, the whole game's there. But there are some things I saw screenshots of that I didn't see myself, and I don't even know where those things were, so there's a lot that I didn't get to explore. Delving into a cave on the terrace, we meet Ice Pikmin, who have the ability to freeze enemies, allowing for much safer kills. And they float on water and can freeze it so other Pikmin can cross, and I wasn't really able to get footage of that because I only had 10 by the end of the demo. Really cool new idea. I kind of felt like it's like Ice Pikmin, that's just gonna be like Rock Pikmin, except they're cold this time. But no, they actually do things. And I didn't only have 10 because I lost them throughout the demo. I don't think a single Pikmin died in my entire runtime, so that might be an indication that this game might be a little baby easy. But it is the tutorial area in the first level, so I'm not gonna make that judgment yet. But, you know, games are a lot easier these days. Unless that's the point of the game. I know someone's gonna comment, Dark Souls isn't easy. Yeah, well that came out like 12 years ago. And on the topic of difficulty, that reminds me of a huge change to the formula. Turns out we're not allowed to have more than 20 Pikmin out when the game starts, and the only way to increase that limit is to find Flarlick cloves. I love that name so much, it's so dumb. In the Ice Pikmin cave, you stumble onto what I thought originally was the yellow onion, but in actuality, when you return it to the surface, that object, formerly known as the yellow onion, gets absorbed and causes a size and capacity increase for the onion, resulting in 30 Pikmin being able to be on the field at once. And that has me wondering if the limit this time will be over 100 Pikmin. Since they introduced this gimmick and letting me double it from 20 to 40 within the span of 2 in-game days and on 1 map location, makes it seem like 100 Pikmin will be reached really quickly. Even if it caps out at 200, I think it'd be a welcomed addition to just have a gigantic swarm of Pikmin. And now that this is a reboot, I feel like they can do that. They don't need to be bound to what was before. Additionally, we have a new mechanic in the form of resource collection. All over the place you'll find these crystals that I initially thought were going to spawn Ice Pikmin from the onion, but instead you're able to process them into a variety of upgrades for your character or use them to build segmented bridges. Sort of like what you saw in Pikmin 3, except those were like made out of ceramic and this is just made out of processed clay. Funny little space dog Ochi also has the ability to receive upgrades after rescuing castaways, but you don't get to explore that feature in the demo quite as much as other things. All you gotta do is find a castaway, bring them back to the ship, and then Ochi will be like, yo dude, I'm feeling better. And you can pick a new upgrade for him. There's like power and carry capacity. I think you can make him do a little dance or something. And if you can't, you should be able to. And going hand in hand with that mechanic, you're actually able to talk to the people you've rescued back at base camp and they give you side missions. This is gonna be one hell of a game, guys. It seems like there's so much to do. Finally, I'd like to bring up the caves. These were my favorite mechanic from Pikmin 2, and they're back, and I think better than ever. Previously, you had to make sure your squad was assembled the way you wanted it before diving into the depths, but now you're able to select what Pikmin you'd like to bring with you out of all the Pikmin on the field and all the Pikmin back in the onion. This comes with the caveat that the caves now limit how many types of Pikmin you can take with you, which means you'll at least be able to accommodate for the dangers found below a little bit better. The thing I'm really glad they kept is once you jump into the cave systems, the clock goes away, you don't need to worry about time at all. I think they say something after you come out of the cave the first time, like, oh wow, it seems like time passes differently underground, so you don't have to worry about the timer, and for that we thank you. The only other thing I was thinking about when I was in the caves was, are they still randomly generated? And I don't know if they are. Maybe some floors could be. But this floor, for example, with all these conveyor belts, definitely not randomly generated. I mean, I can say that and then a million people are gonna go, no, that is randomly generated. I don't know. To me, it looks like it was intentionally made. Because first of all, you have to meet back up with Ochi. You get separated, which is an interesting gimmick. You can switch between your captain and Ochi, further solidifying this as Dogman 4. Literally, I was streaming the demo to some of my friends on Discord, and one of my friends popped in and was like, what is this game? And I was like, it's Pikmin 4. And he goes, oh, I didn't know you were a dog in Pikmin. So that's what it's gonna be now, it's Dogman. Sorry for the rambling again. Alright, so you need to lead the Pikmin down the conveyor belts after you meet back up with Ochi. and then you use his dash move to go back and forth and jump on this button so the Pikmin can carry everything back to the SS Beagle. And instead of having a treasure radar, yet again Ochi can use his sniff ability to find if there's any castaways or treasure left on the floor before you go to the next level. But other than those little changes that may or may not be there, it's basically business as usual. You find treasure, you find castaways, bring them back to the surface, doesn't matter. Caves are amazing, and they're even better now, so I'm really excited to play more of this game. Pikmin 4 is shaping up to be the best game the series has to offer, and I don't think I'm exaggerating. There's so much to do in this demo alone, you could probably play it until the full release and keep finding little secrets and fun details hidden around. The cast of characters is a welcomed breath of fresh air, feeling a lot more alive than what we saw in Pikmin 1 and 2. Not that they weren't filled with personality, I'm just saying Pikmin 3 did it a little different and I liked it that way. While Dog tends to be a big player in this game, I don't think it's a detrimental change. Instead, it sort of helps to streamline the Pikmin experience to what I think might be its ultimate form. And no matter if you've played the other entries or not, this game is one that you're gonna find enjoyment in, and that is a guarantee. Thank you all so much for watching the video again. I wanted to shout out the supporters of this channel because without your support, I would not be making videos. Mimic, Noah Wizbios, Dax, Danny Lee Dauber, Faye, Minty, Mega Traffic Cone, Scratch Attack 64, Ty Little Tech Guy, Jeremy, Crystal, Chaos, Dork in a Hat, and on Patreon, Noah Wizbios and Gino the Puppet. Thanks everyone so much for the support. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time.